Hey everybody, this is Baylor, and in this part 2, we're going to start working with Firebase from our Alexa app. So if you haven't seen part 1, there's a link to it in the description. Be sure to check it out so you can be caught up and ready to go. So we are at Firebase, and we're going to go to the console and create a new app. So we're going to name this project Coffee Shop, and that'll just match what we named our Alexa skill. So we'll click Continue. I'm going to enable analytics for this project, and I'm going to choose my account, and we'll click Create Project. And our project is ready, so we'll hit Continue. And inside of our project, we're going to go to Database and create a new database. So we'll click Create Database. I'm going to start in test mode. Next, we'll use the default location and hit Done. And now we have our database. The next thing we need to do is create credentials for our Alexa skill. So we'll go to Settings and choose Project Settings. We're going to go and make a service account, and we'll use the Firebase Admin SDK for this, and we're going to generate a new private key and generate. And what I'm going to do is open this up in a tab here, and I'm going to copy its contents. And then I'm going to hop back over to our Alexa developer console, and I'm going to add a new file, and we'll call this firebase.json, and we will paste that in here and save. And the next thing we need to do is add this Firebase admin. Now I've gone ahead and done that. I went to the npm.js.com, and I pulled out Firebase admin with its version. And I also added this project inflection, and this will give us additional methods to normalize our text so that we can singularize it and things like that. And so if you'll go ahead and do that into your package JSON, and you only have to do this once, and when you deploy it, Alexa will go, or when we build our app, it will go ahead and install these packages. So with these two things done, we'll take our configuration here and paste that into our index.js. And I'm going to make these constants just so that they are matching. And we'll go ahead and also rename this to firebase.json. And the last thing I'm going to do is add a constant for database, and this is equal to admin.firestore. And this is, we'll use this DB constant so that we're not constantly saying admin.firestore. And then what we can do is go down to our save transaction, and we're going to make this handler asynchronous. And what that will allow us to do is call await. And so what we'll do here is we're going to get rid of our original speak output, and we're going to add a try here. And we're going to say await. And here we're going to say that we want to call db.collection. And we're going to go into a transactions collection. And we're going to add. And here we're going to say the title of this will be our item. And we're going to set a created at equal to, and here we're going to call admin.firestore.timestamp.now. And if this is not successful, if this fails, we'll catch that error and we'll log it. And we will, and now what we need is we need our speak output. So I'll come up here and say, let our speak output equal an empty string. And if we're successful, then speak output is going to be equal to good job team. And if it fails, then speak output is going to be equal to there was a problem saving the transaction. And that should be everything that we need to make this work. So we can go ahead and save, and we'll deploy. And that first deployment is going to take a while, and that's because Alexa, when it's building, is going to install these node packages. But now that it's deployed, we'll go to test. And what we're going to try out is say, tell coffee shop we sold an espresso.
Good job, team.
And we get a good job team. And if we hop back over to Firebase and we go to our database, we should see a transactions collection, and it has an item, and we see that we sold our espresso. And that's awesome. It is super cool because if we try this again, so tell coffee shop we sold a dark roast.
Good job, team.
And if we hop over, well, we don't see any data. Did we have a bug? No. Here's our data. We have dark roast. So this should have opened. This should have refreshed in real time. Let me try this again. Let's do another one just so that tell coffee shop we sold a bottle water.
Good job, team.
Oh, and now we see 3. So this is updating in real time, and we see that bottle water. Now, the problem that I see with this is that we're just taking the straight text that we get from Alexa. So it's all like, it's exactly how I'm typing it. However, when we say things to Alexa, it's not necessarily going to be this clean. And so that is why I had that inflection project added. And what I'm going to do is import. So we'll say const, and we're going to import in singularize and titleize. And that is from that. Ooh, I can't type. So we're importing these from inflection. And I'm going to create a helper here called Normalized Title. And we're going to take in a title, and we're going to return the titleized, singularized version of that title. And so when we add a item, we're going to call normalized title on our item. And I'm going to save this and deploy it. If we hop back over to our test tab, what we'll try out is say, tell coffee shop we sold a bottle waters. And I'm going to deliberately make it plural here. And we should hopefully see a good job team.
Good job, team.
And we do. And if we go over and look at our Firebase, one of these records is new. And you can see, even though I typed in waters, plural, it still made it singular and it titleized it. So now we're actually creating a clean data set. And I'm going to delete these old records that we had earlier that were not titleized. And the next thing we want to do is start querying our data. And so what I'm going to do is hop over to build, and we're going to add a new intent for query intent. And what we might say is we're going to have our slot, and we'll call this item. It's going to be a food type. And what we'll do is we'll say, how many item have we sold? What's another way we might say that? One way we might say this is how many item we have sold. That sounds funny, but I think if I said, ask coffee shop how many item we have sold, or how many items, if I had a plural. And another one might be how many item were sold. So those will give us some test here. So we'll go ahead and save this model and build it. And so what we'll do is we'll hop over to our code. And what we want to do is scroll down to our save transaction intent handler. And I'm going to grab this help intent handler and just paste it in. And we're going to rename this to query intent handler. We'll rename this to query intent. And I'm going to comment out this reprompt. And the last thing we'll do is at the bottom, we're just going to add our query intent handler down here. Okay, so that is pretty straightforward. We're just adding a new intent handler to handle that query intent. And what we want to do is grab that item, because all of our utterances had that slot for item. And so we will add that here. And what I want to do is go ahead and grab that title. So we'll normalize the title for our item. And what we want to do is grab the snapshot. Now to grab this snapshot, the first thing I need to do is make this async. And what this is, we call db.collection, and we're grabbing those transactions. And what we want to do is say where the title is equal to our title here. And what that is doing is that's querying this title field. And notice that we have this where it's bottled water, where it's titleized, and so we're going to call that title here, and then we'll say .get. And before I forget, we need to also make this a wait. And so this snapshot is going to query Firestore, and what we want to do is grab that quantity here, and what that is we'll just say snapshot.docs.length. So for our output here, we're going to change this to be we sold, and we're going to put in that quantity. And then we're going to put in our title. And so what we'll do is we'll hit save and deploy this. And we're going to go ahead and test this. And we'll just ask coffee shop. We'll say, ask coffee shop how many bottle waters we sold. And we'll get a response.
We sold 1 bottle water.
All right, so that works. Now, we might actually say something like how many bottled waters we sold.
We sold 1 bottled water.
And you can see it still comes back with our single bottled water. And if we give it something such as espresso,
We sold 0 espresso.
and you see now we have an issue because in English we would probably say espressos, plural. The only time we say singular is when we have one. And so what we can do for that is go back into our code, and at the top we're going to say that we want to add inflect, and we'll scroll down to where we have this title, and we'll say inflect this title, and what we'll call is on our quantity. And what this will do is it'll singularize the pluralized title based on how many we've gotten. So we'll hit save and deploy. And if we go back over and test this, and we'll paste in how many bottled water we sold, it should still just say 1 bottle water.
We sold 1 bottled water.
And if we change this to espresso,
We sold 0 espressos.
we get 0 espressos, plural. And so that is how we're going to handle the querying side of our dashboard, of our Alexa skill. And in the next video, we're going to build our dashboard. Alexa, tell food stand we sold a soft drink.
Good job, team.
And you can see that today we've sold a soft drink, and this has gone up to 7. And then we can say things like, Alexa, ask food stand how many soft drinks we've sold.
We have sold 7 soft drinks.
And it queries Firestore. There we go. Pretty cool.